continuing where I left off. Before the words were out, he quieted the surging water, drove the clouds away, and brought the sunlight back. Samathe and Triton, side by side, worked to dislodge the grounded ships. Then Neptune with his trident heaved them away, opened the mouths of shoals, tempered the sea in his car departed, gliding over the wave tops on light wheels. When rioting breaks out in a great city, and the ravaging rabble goes so far that stones fly and incendiary brands for anger can supply that kind of weapon, if it so happens they look round and see some dedicated public man, a veteran whose record gives him weight, they quiet down, willing to stop and listen. Then he prevails in speech over their fury by his authority, and placates them. Just so, the whole uproar of the great sea fell silent as the father of it all, scanning horizons under the open sky, swung his team around and gave free rein and flight to his eager chariot. Tired out, Aeneid's people made for the nearest land, turning their prows toward Libya. There's a spot where at the mouth of a long bay an island makes a harbor, forming a breakwater where every swell divides as it comes in and runs far into curving recesses. There are high cliffs on the side and on that, and twin peaks towering heavenward in pen on reaches of still water. Over these, against the forest backdrop shimmering, a dark and shaggy grove casts a deep shade, while in the cliffside opposite below the overhanging peaks, there is a cave with fresh water and seats in the living rock, the home of the nymphs. Here, never an anchor chained, never an anchor's biting fluke need hold a tired ship. Aeneas put in here, with only 7 ships from his full number, and longing for the firm earth underfoot, the Trojans disembarked to take possession of the desired sand beach. Down they lay to rest their brine-soaked bodies on the shore. Achates promptly struck a spark from flint and caught it in dry leaves. He added tinder round about and waved it for a flame burst. Then they brought out the grains of Ceres, tainted by sea water, and Ceres implements, and weary of their troubles, made all ready to dry and grind with millstones what they had. Meanwhile, Aeneas climbed one of the peaks for a long seaward view, hoping to sight gale-worn Antheus and the Phrygian Barmes, capes or high poops bearing Cacus arms. He found no ship in sight, but on the shore 3 wandering stags. Behind them whole herds followed, grazing in a long line down the valleys. Planting his feet, he took in hand the bow and arrows carried by his aide Achates. Then, aiming for the leaders with heads high and branching antlers, brought them first to earth. Next, he routed the whole herd, driving them with his shafts through leafy places, shooting and shooting till he won the hunt by laying 7 carcasses on the ground, a number equal to his ships. Then back to port he went, and parceled out the game to his ship's companies. There he divided the wine courtly Acessus had poured out and given them on the Sicilian shore. Full jugs of it, when they were about to sail. By this, and by a simple speech, Aeneas comforted his people. Friends and companions, have we not known hard hours before this? My men, who have endured still greater dangers, God will grant us an end to these as well. You sail by Scilia's rage, her booming crags. If you saw the Cyclops' boulders, now call back your courage, and have done with fear and sorrow. Some day, perhaps remembering even this will be a pleasure. Through diversities of luck and through so many challenges, we hold our course for Latium, where the fates hold out a settlement and rest for us. Troy's kingdom there shall rise again. Be patient, save yourselves for more auspicious days. So ran the speech. Burdened and sick at heart, he bade hope in his look, and inwardly contained his anguish. Now the Trojans' crew made ready for their windfall and their feast. They skinned the deer, bared ribs and viscera. Then one lot sliced the flesh and skewered it on spits, all quivering, while others filled bronze cooking pots and tended the beach fires. All got their strength back from the meal, reclining on the wild grass, gorging on venison and mellow wine. When hunger had been banished and tables put away, they talked at length in hope and fear about their missing friends. Could one believe they might be still alive, or had they suffered their last hour, never again to hear a voice that called them? Aeneas, more than any, secretly mourned for them all, for that fierce man Orontes, then for Amasis, then for the bitter fate of Lysias, the brave Gyas, brave Cloanthus. It was the day's end when the highest air Jupiter looked down on the broad sea, flecked with wings of sails, and the land masses, coasts, and nations of the earth. He stood on heaven's height and turned his gaze toward Libya, and as he took the troubles where to heart, Venus appealed to him, all pale and wan, with tears in her shining eyes. My lord, who rule the lives of men and gods now and forever, and bring them all to heel with your bright bolt, what in the world could my Aeneas do? What could the Trojans do, so to offend you, that after suffering all those deaths they find the whole world closed to them, because of Italy? Surely from these Romans are to come in the course of years, renewing Teucer's line, to rule the sea and all the lands about it. According to your promise, what new thought has turned you from them, father? I console myself for Troy's fall, that grim ruin weighing out one faith against another in the scales. But now, when they have borne so many blows, the same misfortune follows them. Great king, what finish their troubles will you give? After Atenor slipped through the Archeans, he could explore Lyrian coves and reach in safety the Liburnians, inland kingdoms and source of the Tumabas. Through 9 openings, with a great rumble in the mountain wall, it burst from the ground there and floods the fields in a rushing sea. And yet he chose that place for Pauda and new homes for Teucrians, gave them a name, set up the arms of Troy, and now rests in his peace. As for ourselves, your own children, whom you make heirs of heaven, our ships being lost, this is unspeakable. We are forsaken through one enemy's rage, and kept remote from Italy. Is this the palm for your loyalty? This our power restored? He smiled at her, the father of gods and men, with that serenity that calms the weather, and lightly kissed his daughter. Then he said, No need to be afraid, Cythera. Your children's destiny has not been changed. As promised, you shall see Lavinian's wall and take up, and then amid the stars of heaven, great soul Aeneas. No new thought has turned me, no, he, your son. Now let me speak of him, in view of your consuming care, at length, unfolding secret fated things to come. In Italy he will fight a massive war, beat down fierce armies, then for the people there establish city walls and a way of life. When the Rutulians are subdued, he'll pass 3 summers of command in Latium, 3 years of winter quarters. But the boy Asinius, to whom the name of Iulus now is added, Ilus, where Ilium stood, will hold the power for all of 30 years, great rings of wheeling months. He will transfer his capital from Lavinium and make a fortress, Alba Longa. 3 full centuries that kingdom will be ruled by Hector's race, until the queen and priestess Ilia, pregnant by Mars, will bear twin sons to him. Afterward, happy in the tawny pelt his nurse, the she-wolf, whereas young Romulus will take the leadership, build walls of Mars, and call by his own name his people Romans. For these I set no limits, world or time, but make the gift of umpire without end. Juno, indeed, whose bitterness now fills with fear and torment sea, earth, and sky, will mend her ways and favor them as I do, lords of the world, the toga-bearing Romans. Such is our pleasure, as the years fall away, and age comes with Acacerus' royal house will bring to servitude Thessalian Pythia, Rione, Mycenae, too, and subjugate, defeat Argos. From the comely line, the Trojan Caesar comes to circumscribe empire of ocean, fame with heaven's stars. And that's where I'm going to leave off, and hope please comment and like it.